Berry Conservation District is your local resource for all things natural resources. The district is here to help you manage your natural resources responsibly for present and future generations. Berry Conservation District works with the community and conservation groups to provide resource conservation assistance to all landowners. Protect Our Waters Thornapple River Watershed Series is how we can become familiar with the water resources in our community and how we can protect them. In this video, we will be exploring what is a watershed. To be able to talk about what a watershed is, we're going to take a journey through a model watershed. Here we have a watershed, and to be able to explain to you what it encompasses, I'm going to show you where a watershed starts. So here in our higher areas of elevation, when we have rain or snow that melts, we start to get little streams. And these little streams are pretty fast moving, there's a lot of them, but as they follow the land, they get channeled down into some larger areas. These are our creeks. They have a lot more water, but they're slower moving. And those creeks, as they continue to move down our areas of elevation, they start to move into our ponds, our lakes, and our human-made reservoirs. In these areas, a lot more of that water collects, and sometimes over time, soil can actually sweep into the areas and start to fill them in. And that's actually where we get our wetlands. Wetlands are really important areas. They're actually usually found next to these water bodies, so if we ever get a lot of rain or a lot of snow melt that's moving through and could cause a flood, wetland can help as a giant sponge and suck all that water in. Also, the wetlands help by filtering that water. So before that water then gets to our groundwater, it goes through a nice filtering system and it can help clean out pollutants. As some of our larger streams continue to move in our watershed, they move towards a larger water body at the end. In Michigan, that happens to be our Great Lakes. And our Great Lakes eventually move on to the ocean. A watershed is the whole system. It includes the headwaters at the beginning, all the way to the water body at the end, and all of the land and the water between. It's important for us to be able to protect our watershed from pollutants that enter the system in any area because those pollutants affect all the areas downstream. So we want to protect each part of our watershed from pollutants. Some common pollutants that we can find in the watershed include things like the road salt that we put on the roads in the winter. It can include the gasoline or the oil that gets leaked from our cars in our driveways or parking lots. It can be the fertilizer and the excess soil that washes off from farm fields, or even the fertilizer and the herbicide we use in our yards at home. Also things like our pet waste that we don't pick up, or some waste that comes from leaking septic systems. All of these things can be pollutants that can then be washed by the rain or the snow melt into our waters. When we have rain or snow melt on the landscape, it can actually cause the pollutants to be washed into the water. So the water follows the land, and those pollutants can all end up in our water body at the end. Thankfully, there are ways that we can reduce this pollution in our watershed. Some of these practices that we use are called best management practices, and when we put them in place, we have a better chance at protecting our waters from some of these pollutants. It's really important for not only the health of the fish and the plants that live in the water, but also our health.